Media.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. And do I have some great news to share with you today? In fact, the Freedom Convoy has returned. Well, two of the main organizers from the Freedom Convoy, that is, and in a very enlightening way, and one that we are all definitely that are aware of, looking forward to, and one that I want to share with you here on the channel. And we're going to get to that right away, as well as what's coming up for those individuals as they head into their very lengthy court battle in regards to what happened during the Freedom Convoy back in 2022. We're going to get into all of that right away here on the channel, but first we want to showcase this video's sponsor, Unacceptable Fringe Books. Unacceptable Fringe Books has something new and exciting to share with each and every one of you. Our newest book and possibly final book entry into our series of political satire books, Just Axe the Tax, a parody of Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham, is now available on Amazon. Over the last few years, it's been my absolute pleasure to bring you hit titles such as How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom, One Face, Two Face, Blackface, Blueface, Hold the Line, The Ballad of Tamara Lich, and How the Prime Minister Broke Canada. All of these best-selling books have been an absolute thrill to write for you, but with each book releasing, we always want to give back to the community as well and try to help Canadians in some shape or form and another. This time, I'm proud to announce that proceeds from every purchase of our books on Amazon will be going towards helping local Canadian food banks at a time when the Prime Minister has made affordability very difficult for common Canadian households. At Unacceptable Fringe Books, not only are we committed to giving you humor in political entertainment, but we are also committed to giving Canadians a boost at a time when they're in need or looking for some form of assistance. Head over to Amazon.com or Amazon.ca right now and pick up your copy of Just Axe the Tax and give yourself the gift of a little bit of laughter at a time when everyone in this country could definitely use some. Link is down below in the description. Now, just as I said in that ad, ladies and gentlemen, just keep in mind that for the first 60 days from launch, meaning up until September 1st, Unacceptable Fringe Books will be donating a vast portion of its profits over to local Canadian food banks in order to assist those, alongside Pierre's message, that cannot afford to essentially feed themselves these days or provide for their families. Your patronage to these books, or your ability to purchase these books, not only gives you a slice of entertainment of one of our, or many of our pieces that we've written over the last couple of years, but also provides, again, a small nudge for those, who are in need at a time when times are very tough, thanks to people like Justin Trudeau. Now let's get into what is going on and what we're talking about when I say the Freedom Convoy has returned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Barber, one of the organizers of the Freedom Convoy, or one of the main participants, has announced that a new weekly podcast is coming soon with Tamara Lich called Hold the Line. It's going to start with Tamara and Lich and Chris, and it says, wait for it. Of course, the first tweet coming from Tamara back on the 16th of July saying, so excited. Who to choose for our first guest? So many to choose from. Well, if you ever need one, I'm right here. No, I'm kidding. This is fantastic news. I'm glad to see. So not only earlier this year was the separation, injunction that Tamara wasn't able to even come in contact with Chris without legal representation dropped, but now they are putting forward a full-blown podcast. Again, both parties very busy. I've reached out to Tamara to see if she had a chance to come on and talk about this. Very, very busy individual right now because she's touring the countryside and also getting back into her own issues as she heads into her upcoming court battle with the Canadian government. As we see here in one of her latest posts, it says, I had a wonderful visit with Ashley this afternoon. After receiving her jab back in September 14th of 2021, this beautiful young mother has had her life changed forever. Sadly, like so many others, she is being gaslit by the healthcare complex and has been told everything's all in her head and was dismissed. Apparently, the info has been attached, and she had told me about doses we can and we must help these people who trusted our politicians. No one gets left behind. Of course, Tamara is going to have, I'm assuming, multiple subjects like this coming up on their podcast. Now, when that podcast is going to drop, I'm not entirely sure. Again, should be in the near future. And when it drops, I will be here to let you guys know on the channel. But one thing I wanted to talk about is their court battle that's going to be ongoing into August and possibly September. And when I say possibly September, it's not supposed to go into September. However, this is the Canadian government, and we'd seen that over the last year and a half, they have delayed when it comes to the trial of Tamara Lich and Chris Barber. Of course, this tells us that the Crown has essentially nothing on them. They've rested their case ages ago. Apparently, it's closing arguments that we're going to hear, something along those lines. It says here, the judge in the criminal trial of two Freedom Convoy organizers has dismissed a defense application and agreed to consider arguments that the two accused acted as co-conspirators. Following an extended break, Chris Barber and Tamara Lich returned to court virtually on Thursday. This was back in March. To resume their trial. They're charged with mischief, intimidation, and offenses related to counseling others to break the law during the protests that took over downtown Ottawa for more than 3 weeks in early 2022. We all know, of course, this is all nonsense. It's all a nothing burger. Their lawyers had sought to have a co-conspirator application filed by the Crown dismissed. Prosecutors are seeking to have the two accused charged as one, with evidence applying to both. In her decision, Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh said, despite a lack of direct evidence, there was enough circumstantial evidence to create an interference of a common unlawful design. She will now consider the Crown's co-conspirator application at the end of the trial. So again, we're not really sure where things are going to go. My guess is that it's going to be, again, purely speculation. We're going to see nothing here. I really don't see how they can move forward. We all know what happened with Tamara, thrown in jail twice, put in solitary confinement, mistreated for mischief. Keep in mind, this is very, very low-end charges. I mean, people in Toronto are told that they can steal automobiles and get same-day release, while Tamara goes to jail for over 60 days. It says here that Perkins McVeigh said in her decision that she recognized there were multiple convoys and various groups that came to Ottawa for different reasons, including some who were not influenced by Barber and Lich. She also pointed out to evidence that Barber and Lich were part of the leadership of the Freedom Convoy, held press conferences, and raised money. She said there's evidence the two leaders looked for ways to distribute money to truckers on the ground so protesters could inferently continue their stay in Ottawa and lock the streets. These are the interferences that can be drawn, and that they mandated others to remain in Ottawa until the mandates were removed or the demands of the Freedom Convoy were met. Her decision reads, the trial is expected to continue, with the defense likely presenting their case later this month, possibly as soon as March 13th, at the time this article was written. Now, we all know that didn't happen because it was extended all the way until August. But here it says it's a slow-moving trial. Already the trial is stretched well beyond the original 16-day schedule, and this is what makes it a laughing stock of Canadian justice system. This is a circus. This is a witch hunt. 16 days that has turned into almost a year and a half. Arrested on February 17th, one day before police started cleaning downtown streets of people protesting and airing anti-government grievances, Lich and Barber started their trial on September 5th. Meant to decide whether, and if so, how, the two should be punished for their role in the weeks-long protest that clogged the city's core and shook residents. The trial has been slowed by legal wrangling, technical delays, unprepared witnesses, and issues over how police evidence was disclosed. Again, nothing. They have nothing. We know this now. This is just baloney, hogwash. What is it Joe Biden would say? Malarkey at this point. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Canadian justice system, and this is where we're at. I merely wanted to showcase how great it is to see Chris Barber and Tamara both coming back with a podcast. I think it's going to be fantastic to see them join this online community, whether it be on YouTube or any other platform that they decide to distribute this podcast on. Again, once we have dates, I will be letting you guys know where you can find those. And again, I look forward to hearing everything that they have to talk about, especially now that things seem to be wrapping up in their dilemmaed lifestyle when it comes to their actions during the Freedom Convoy. Of course, we know bank accounts have been frozen. We know that they've been locked into their homes, essentially. Their pandemic has not ended since the Freedom Convoy. In fact, just a small breath of fresh air to be allowed to be in the same room as each other for the last few months. Now, again, what happens when they go back to court? Your guess is as good as mine. If I were to speculate, again, I'm not a lawyer. I haven't spoken with any lawyers, but the fact that it's been drawn on for over its 16-day period for consecutive months tells me that not only were witnesses not prepared, but the Crown really has nothing to push on them. Any kind of judgment that would go against Chris or Tamara at this point would clearly show corruption within the justice system. We all know that it's very well present in there and that we may see it, but I just am willing at this point to say it's going to be dismissed, thrown out, and hopefully that means Chris and Tamara can get on with their lives and start producing this amazing podcast that we're all looking forward to. Let me know what you guys think down below. Will you be listening to Chris and Tamara's podcast and joining them on their journey through the devastation caused by the Canadian government? And will you be paying attention to what happens in their court trial? Let me know your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure while you're hitting that button to turn on your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show where we talk about everything that's happened in the previous week of politics, everything coming up that we're aware of in the week ahead, as well as some back and forth within our community. It's always great to see you guys during those live streams and talk to you outside of making these videos, and I always look forward to hearing what each and every one of you has to say during those streams. I hope to see you all there this upcoming Friday, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.